The 650 million rand South Africa gold mine heist. Deep in the heart of South Africa lies a labyrinth of tunnels where dreams of wealth are born, dreams forged in gold. But in 2014, those dreams were shattered by a crime so audacious it sounded like fiction. 500 kilograms of pure gold, worth 650 million rands, vanished from the Sibanye gold mine without a trace. The operation was flawless, the execution precise, and the thieves? Ghosts in the system. Who could outsmart one of the most secure mining operations in the world? Was it insiders, or did an international crime syndicate orchestrate this masterpiece? The Sibanye gold mine heist wasn't just a theft, it was a statement. A story of greed, betrayal, and the lengths people will go for fortune. As we unravel this mystery, remember one thing: every piece of gold ever stolen leaves a trail, if you know where to look. So buckle up, and let's dive into a tale that will leave you questioning everything you think you know about security, trust, and human ambition. Chapter 1. Beneath the surface, the Sibanye gold mine wasn't just a workplace, it was a fortress. Spanning kilometers underground, its labyrinthine tunnels held treasures that fueled global economies. At its peak, the mine produced more gold in a week than most nations did in a year. But with great wealth comes great temptation. To most, the mine was impenetrable. Guards patrolled 24/7, cameras watched every angle, and vaults were fortified with cutting-edge technology. Yet, beneath this ironclad exterior, cracks began to show. Workers whispered of shifts gone unpaid, of security guards turning a blind eye for the right price. Then there were the blind spots, literal and figurative. Areas where cameras failed, where patrols never ventured, and where secrets could hide. Those in the shadows were watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The heist wasn't born overnight. It was months, perhaps years, in the making. And it started with a simple truth: even fortresses have their weaknesses. Chapter 2, The Architects of Ambition. Every heist needs a mastermind, and the Sibanye operation had a few. These weren't petty criminals, they were professionals. Engineers who knew how to disable systems, logistics experts who could plan down to the second, and insiders who held the keys to the kingdom. The core team wasn't built by chance. Each member was carefully chosen, their skills indispensable to the mission. Some had military backgrounds, others had worked at the mine, and a few had connections to underground markets. Their leader, an enigma in his own right, was said to be a strategist of unmatched brilliance. He studied the mine's operations obsessively, identifying weaknesses others overlooked. Yet this wasn't just about skill, it was about trust. One weak link, one loose tongue, and the entire operation would crumble. The plan they devised was daring, almost impossible. But impossible was a challenge they were willing to accept. Chapter 3, The heist unfolds. It was a night like any other, or so it seemed. Security guards manned their stations, workers clocked in and out, and deep underground, gold lay waiting. But as the clock struck midnight, the first domino fell. A convoy of vehicles approached the mine, their drivers armed with fake credentials and unwavering confidence. The guards at the perimeter didn't suspect a thing. Inside, the operation was already in motion. The thieves moved swiftly, guided by detailed blueprints and insider knowledge. Vault codes were bypassed, alarms disabled, and surveillance cameras rerouted to show empty corridors. Gold bars, each weighing a hefty 12.5 kilograms, were loaded into reinforced crates. Every step of the process was timed to perfection, leaving no room for error. Within 2 hours, the convoy disappeared into the vast South African night. By the time the alarm sounded, the thieves were long gone. The gold? Missing. The culprits? Nowhere to be found. Chapter 4, Shockwaves across the industry. When news of the heist broke, it sent shockwaves across South Africa, and the world. How could such a high-security operation be breached so easily? Fingers were pointed, accusations flew, and the media had a field day. The mine's executives faced the wrath of shareholders demanding answers. Panic spread through the industry as other mines scrambled to reassess their own vulnerabilities. Investigators arrived at the scene, but what they found was baffling. Burnt-out vehicles and abandoned tools provided little insight. Security footage was missing or corrupted. Theories emerged. Was it an inside job? Were international crime syndicates involved? The lack of concrete evidence only deepened the mystery. And as the public speculated, one thing became clear: this wasn't just a heist. It was a masterstroke. Chapter 5, The hunt for clues. The investigation began with the basics: follow the gold. But tracking stolen gold is no easy task. Once melted down, it becomes untraceable, blending seamlessly into the global market. Authorities turned their attention to the suspects. Dozens of mine workers were interrogated, some even arrested, but none were the masterminds. Bank accounts flagged for suspicious activity revealed offshore transfers, but the trails went cold. Every lead, every clue, seemed to evaporate as quickly as it appeared. Frustration mounted. Who could pull off such a flawless crime? The deeper investigators dug, the more they realized they weren't just dealing with thieves. They were dealing with ghosts. Chapter 6, a systemic failure. Beneath the mystery of the heist lay an uncomfortable truth: corruption. The mining industry, for all its wealth, was plagued by systemic flaws. Security guards admitted to taking bribes. Supervisors overlooked red flags in exchange for favors. Even government officials were rumored to be complicit. The Sibanye heist wasn't just a crime, it was a reflection of a broken system. A system where wealth overshadowed ethics, and greed silenced integrity. This wasn't a story of one night. It was a story of years of complacency and negligence. And while arrests were made, the masterminds remained untouchable, their identities hidden in plain sight. Chapter 7, Theories and Shadows. To this day, the Sibanye gold mine heist remains unsolved. Who were the thieves? Where did the gold go? And how did they stay ahead of the authorities? Some believe it was an inside job, orchestrated by disgruntled workers. Others point to international cartels, their networks spanning continents. Then there are the conspiracy theories, stories of corrupt politicians, rival mining companies, and hidden agendas. The truth? It lies buried, as elusive as the gold itself. What we do know is this: the heist was a masterpiece of planning and execution. A crime so audacious it has become a legend. And legends, as we know, never die. Chapter 8, The Aftermath. In the months following the heist, the Sibanye gold mine was never the same. Security measures were overhauled, millions of rands poured into new technology. Guards were retrained, systems revamped, but the shadow of the heist loomed large. For the workers, life became a relentless grind of suspicion and fear. Whispers of who knew what echoed through the tunnels, and trust became a rare commodity. The community surrounding the mine felt the impact too. Many relied on the mine for their livelihoods, and its tarnished reputation rippled through local economies. Meanwhile, the authorities faced mounting pressure. How could they justify the millions spent on the investigation with no results? The police commissioner declared it an ongoing investigation, but to the public, it felt more like a lost cause. The heist became a symbol, not just of crime but of defiance against a system riddled with flaws. And for the masterminds, wherever they were, the gold was their silent victory. Chapter 9, Lessons from the Heist. The Sibanye gold mine heist wasn't just a crime story, it was a cautionary tale. It exposed the vulnerabilities of industries that believed themselves invincible. In a world where technology grows more sophisticated by the day, so do those who seek to exploit it. The heist demonstrated the importance of not just physical security but also digital resilience. For companies worldwide, the message was clear: trust is not enough. Vigilance, adaptability, and constant innovation are the new pillars of security. But perhaps the biggest lesson came from the masterminds themselves. They didn't rely on brute force or high-tech gadgets. They relied on understanding the system, its weaknesses, its blind spots, and its humanity. And in doing so, they reminded us of a universal truth: the greatest risks often come from within. Chapter 10, The Legacy of Gold. Years later, the Sibanye gold mine heist remains one of the most compelling unsolved crimes in history. The story is told in hushed tones, inspiring both awe and caution. For those who dream of riches, it's a testament to ambition. For those in power, it's a warning of what happens when ambition goes unchecked. The gold itself? Likely long gone, melted, sold, and scattered across the globe. But its value lives on, not just in rands but in the lessons it taught us. The mine, the community, and even the investigators are forever changed. The heist became a symbol of human ingenuity and fallibility, a paradox of brilliance and greed. As you watch this, somewhere, someone is likely studying the Sibanye heist, taking notes, and imagining their own audacious plan. After all, history doesn't just repeat itself. It evolves. And that, perhaps, is the most enduring legacy of the great Sibanye gold mine heist. So, as we reach the end of this story, one question lingers: was the Sibanye gold mine heist a perfect crime? Or is perfection merely an illusion, crafted by those who know how to hide in the shadows? Let this tale remind us that even the most secure systems can crumble when faced with the complexity of human ambition. And perhaps, somewhere, the masterminds are watching this right now, smiling at their creation, a crime that transcended the gold it sought to steal. Until next time, remember, every treasure has a cost. And sometimes, the price is paid not in gold, but in trust, loyalty, and the thin veil of security we think protects us all.